Hello, good morning everyone in Canada and good evening everyone in India. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Hope everybody is doing fine. I had a little internet issue, so I got delayed in signing in. I was trying to connect my internet. So is everything okay? Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna Richa ji, Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Shyam Prabhu. Welcome all. Thank you for joining us and excuse me for my delay as I have some internet issue, but everything seems to be okay now. And we will continue with our presentation for today on Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 3. I hope everybody got a chance to read Bhagavad Gita in the last week. Haribol Sachin Prabhu, Hare Krishna Ajit Prabhu, Hare Krishna Anilji, Sunita ji, Jai Shri Krishna. Good morning, Tash. Good morning, Bridge Prabhu. Good morning, Katie. Nice to see you all today. Hare Krishna Nitish ji, welcome, welcome. Nice to see you as well. I have received some feedback from some of our friends who are joining us online every week, and they have sent me some videos of their understanding about second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So we will read, we will hear from them, we will listen the realizations, and then we will continue with our third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga. Good morning, Christian. Thank you for joining us today. So first two chapters we have finished, and now we are on the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So first chapter is the introduction, setting the field, setting the background, and then second chapter onwards, Lord Krishna starts instructing. So we will continue our journey, but before that, I'm going to share the realizations video and audio presentations sent by some of our friends who are participants in this course. So I'm going to share their video. So please have a patient hearing for all of them. And I'm going to project it here. What I will do is I will start the video, and then once the video starts, I will pause the sound for a few seconds. So making sure all of you can hear them, and then we will continue with the presentation. So let us all begin with the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya prayer. Prayers are on your screen. Can you all see the screen? Is the sound and picture clear? If you have any technical difficulties, you can type it in your chat box. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. So let's all sit together, recite together Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So sit straight, neck in the line with the back, close your eyes, fold your hands, and let's recite together Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So I'm going to share now the videos which are being sent by our participant friends today, and we have a video from Shyam Prabhu. He is joining us from UK. Shyam Prabhu had attended this Bhagavad Gita course in last session as well, and today Shyam Prabhu is going to give us the summary. So he's repeating this course for the second time, and many of our participants, some of our participants are repeating for the second time. The reason being is that when you revise it, then you can memorize it, you can understand it better. So that's a wonderful example of Shyama Prabhu. He is so sincere and he is interested in learning more about Bhagavad Gita. So he's sincerely reading Bhagavad Gita, making the notes, making a presentation, and he also shares with us in person also. He sends me by WhatsApp message also many times. So thank you, Shyam Prabhu. Thank you so much, and I'll share your video with everybody. So I'm going to start the video.
Hare Krishna Prabhu and Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Today I'm going to summarize chapter 2, which is Sankhya Yoga of Bhagavad Gita.
So can you all hear Shyam Prabhu? Is his sound clear? Can you all hear him? If his volume is low, then you can increase the volume of your computer or cell phone so that you can hear him clearly, because the sound is being transmitted from my computer to your computer. So there might be some sound frequency, but if it is low, just increase your volume. Thank you, Shyam Prabhu.
Sankhya Yoga means the science of the soul. Lord Krishna listens to Arjuna in the chapter 1 and about his grief and lamentation. And now Lord Krishna teaches the two main concepts in this chapter, which is the Sankhya Yoga, or the analytical study of material body and the spirit soul. And second thing that he teaches is Buddhi Yoga, that is to work without attachments to fruitive results. Yoga means to connect to the Supreme Lord. Yoga comes from a Sanskrit word, yuj, which means to connect. And Krishna is enlightening Arjuna through the yoga process. Arjuna, who's a great fighter and is now going through an existential crisis and is fully confused about what is the right thing to do. And Lord Krishna condemns Arjuna's false lamentation and false compassion. Krishna is criticizing Arjuna, saying that however these impurities come upon you and they're not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life, and they lead not to higher planets but to infamy. Lord Krishna motivates him and asks him to give up such petty weakness of the heart and arise. Here the problem is Arjuna is giving up his higher principles for lower principles, and higher principles is doing your duty to protect dharma and to punish the wrongdoers of adharma. And Arjuna is saying that he prefers begging rather than to fight with his superiors, with his gurus and his grandfather. Arjuna says that he does not know which is better, to fight or not to fight. Arjuna's confusion is because of ignorance, because of his attachment to his teachers. The most important sloka in this chapter, chapter 2 Bhagavad Gita, is the sloka number 2.7. कर्मण्यदोषोपहता स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वं धर्मसमुच्चचेतः यश्रेयस्यन्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्ते संसादिमां त्वं प्रपन्नम्. In this verse, Lord Arjuna kind of like he's so far he's considering Krishna as a friend, but in this verse he says that he says that he's confused about his duty and he's lost all composure, and he's saying that from now he's considering Krishna as his guru, and he says that he is his disciple and a soul which is surrendered to Lord Krishna, and he's asking Krishna to instruct him. I think this sloka is so important because this is where Arjuna is considering him as a guru. Because the only practical way to curb lamentation is to take shelter of Krishna, just like Arjuna. And this surrender to Krishna is called as Krishna consciousness. Spiritual life starts with the doubt: who am I? What am I doing here? Is there life after death? And we see in today's world about Black Lives Matter or Asian Lives Matter and things like that. But here, Lord Krishna is kind of explaining that it is only the soul that matters and not the body or the color of the skin. Lord Krishna explains who we are and what is our actual identity. The soul is full of Sachitananda. It's called as Sachitananda, which is full of knowledge, bliss, but it is covered by ignorance. And so Sankhya Yoga is all about understanding our actual real identity, that we are a spirit soul, and to understand what is the higher purpose of life. In human life, there are two dharmas. One dharma is called as swadharma, which is our duties and responsibility towards our family, friends, society, our job. That is our swadharma. And Sanatana Dharma is all about our duties of as a soul with the Paramatma, which is the super soul. So this is the most important thing. And and then the characteristics of the soul. Lord Krishna explains what are the characteristics of the soul. That the soul is indestructible, it is eternal, full of bliss, and it is individual. It has a form and a personality, and it is situated in the heart. And the size of the soul is just 1,000 or the tip of the hair. So, and then Lord Krishna goes on to explain that as the soul passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at the time of death, and a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Lord Krishna also explains about tolerance, saying that the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and the disappearance in due course of time are like the appearance and disappearance of summer and winter season, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So even life and death is also like, one of the things like happen. And Lord Krishna says like how you can, that we should learn to tolerate them. And then Lord Krishna also explains that the soul that which pervades the entire body is indestructible, and nobody is able to destroy the imperishable soul. Lord Krishna says that for the soul, there is no neither birth or death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. And the other thing is, like Lord Krishna says, that as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up old and useless ones. And Lord Krishna also goes on to say that the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by the fire, nor moistened by the rain, or withered by the wind. And and Lord Krishna also explains, like, this life, this soul, this whole life is just one chapter for the whole journey of the soul. And then the body, which is born, is going to come to an end at one point of time. So Lord Krishna says, like, just because of this, you should not lament, and you should go and follow the higher principles or the highest dharma, that is to fight for the cause of dharma and being on the right side of righteousness. So this is actually my understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, and thank you so much for your selfless service of teaching us this divine knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and understanding the science of the soul. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sham Prabhu. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Sham Prabhu for doing an excellent homework, reading Bhagavad Gita, making the notes, recording it, sending it back to me. Thank you so much, Sham Prabhu. Really, really happy. Thank you so much. Big round of applause to Sham Prabhu. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. So now our next presentation is by Sachin Prabhu and Jai Shri Ben. I'm just going to start it, making sure you all can hear them. So can you all hear Sachin Bhai and Jai Shri Ben's sound? Is the sound clear? Can you all hear them? If you can hear them, please type yes in your chat box. If the sound is low, okay, because the sound recording was low. So maybe please increase your volume a little bit so that you can hear them, but we will continue.
From Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. It was pleasure seeing Dr. Prashant again after a long time. I used to do prayers, bhajan kirtan, satsang with him on every weekend, sometimes weekdays too, when I was in Thunder Bay. So I feel so fortunate to see him again with this course. From Adhyay 2, what we understood, that Arjuna is still confused. He doesn't want to fight with Kauravas. And Dr. Prashant explaining us in Sankhya Yoga how Bhagavad Gita is helping us in our daily problems, material problems in our life. Bhagavad Gita is a yoga ladder that connecting Atma to Paramatma. We also learned that we have to look for bona fide Guru who can help us connecting to Krishna. I like the way Dr. Prashant say, Krishna will give you Guru, Guru will give you Krishna. As money, power, and position will never help us in our daily challenges, solving problems. We also learn about body, soul, and super soul. How body changes, but soul never changes. Body is temporarily, but soul is permanent. The way Dr. Prashant is explaining, it's so simple to understand. So we are looking forward to gain more and more knowledge about Bhagavad Gita from you. Thank you very much. Hari Bol.
Haribo. Thank you, Sachin Bhai. Thank you, Jayashree Ben. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Sachin Bhai and Jayashree Ben for a beautiful summary of our second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, summarizing the importance that no matter how much bigger position, how much monetary or how much material wealth we have, but we need a guru, we need a teacher who can help us out. Thank you, Sachin Bhai. Thank you, Jayashree Ben. The next one is by Jyoti ji from USA. Jyoti ji is consistently sending she sent for first chapter also. Now this is the second chapter summary. Thank you, Jyoti ji.
My take on the first half of the chapter 2 is that the God spoke for the first time when Arjuna completely surrendered to be his disciple. It is also the chapter where the concept of Atma, soul, is introduced. Atma is distinct from the body. It's indestructible, unborn, eternal, and immutable. It is so tiny and minuscule, even at atomic level, and it resides in the SA node of the heart. It remains the same throughout the time without having any changes. The body may change. You should not grieve for the body because the born death is certain, and for the dead a birth is certain. So, thank you.
Thank you, Jyoti ji. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Jyoti ji. Thank you so much for sending this presentation, sending your realizations about the Atma, soul, and your practical experience. Thank you so much, Jyoti ji. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Now we'll go to the next presentation by Ambika. Ambika has sent her presentation in the Spanish language. We will not, those who can understand the Spanish can hear her, but we will play her realizations about second chapter. This is in Spanish language.
Haribol, muy buenos días, Dr. Prashant. Mi nombre es Ambika, soy de Argentina. Bueno, este video va a ser en español. El estudio del Bhagavad Gita del sábado pasado fue excelente. Yo hablo muy poquito inglés, pero comprendo un poquito mejor y la verdad que fue bastante claro. Me gustaron mucho los capítulos, los versos, fue muy inspirador. Y también el material, creo que es muy importante el material extra para poder comprender un poquito más las grandes enseñanzas que quizás con nuestra mente, bueno, es un poco más complicado. Así que excelente el curso, muy bueno, muy didáctico, dinámico, y bueno, agradecida por compartir esta gran enseñanza y gran escritura de la mano de Sri Krishna. Om Haribol.
Haribol, Haribol. Thank you, Ambika ji. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Ambika ji for sending her presentation. She is Spanish speaking. She couldn't translate it in English, but those who could understand in Spanish, again, we want to thank you, Ambika ji. Haribol to you as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. And the last part of the presentation for today is Cyrene Natura. She has sent her presentation in an audio format because she has her technical difficulty. So here the email she wrote me with the attachment for the audio, she says that Hello, Dr. Prashant. Attached is a brief audio for a summary of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 and 2. Thank you for offering this course. See you tomorrow, Lord willing. Okay, and then I'm playing her audio summary for you. Thank you, Cyril.
Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 and 2, brief summary. Bhagavad Gita translates to mean Song of God. It is composed of 700 verses, which hold within them keys to existence. The discourse takes place on a sacred piece of land in which a battle is yet to unfold between a family divided by dispute. Arjuna, beholden Lord Krishna as his chariot driver, he requested to move into the center of the battlefield to see all who was gathered to fight. In witnessing his family, friends, and advisors all present as participants in the war about to take place, his soft heart swelled in emotion, and he broke down in a visceral experience of despair. Lord Krishna smiled and poked fun at Arjuna with words that created a moment of reckoning in regard to the meaning of compassion. Weak and confused about what action would represent his true duty, he surrenders to Lord Krishna to guide him towards the highest and best path. In the second chapter, Arjuna is given the instructions on how to live in yoga, or union with the Supreme Truth. In recognition of the eternal individual nature of the soul, the impermanence of the body, and the fact that perpetuating an illusion of material attachments by way of sentimentality is a form of violence in itself, Arjuna agrees to fight, thus choosing to participate in the movement towards fullness and completeness.
Thank you, Cyrene. Thank you so much. Let's give a big round of applause to Cyrene.
Chapter 1 and 2, brief.
Let's give a big round of applause to Cyrene. Thank you so much, Cyrene, for giving your audio summary. And similarly, we encourage everyone to read Bhagavad Gita, a chapter when we are done with this session for today, and make a nice notes and summarize, record a video, and please do send me a video. So with that, we will continue with our journey of Bhagavad Gita, and I am going to continue with chapter number 3 today. We like to pay our respects to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, because of whom we are able to understand, read, and apply this Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. I will like to pay respects to my Guru, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Because of his blessings, I am able to learn and spread the message of Bhagavad Gita. So our objectives will be again to learn the basics, to understand the meanings of important shlokas, and how to apply in our daily life. So first chapter, as everybody summarized, is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. Total 46 shloka. First half describes arrangement of army on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Second half is about Arjuna's lamentation. So as Arjuna sees the army on both the sides, he becomes compassionate. He starts lamenting and he is refusing to fight. Why? Because he's compassionate towards his family members and friends. He's fearful of sinful reactions, of killing the family members and friends, and he's worried about loss of support and security for the family members who are going to die. So Arjun then decides not to fight. He casts aside his bow and arrow, and his mind becomes full of grief. So what do we learn from it here? Forgetfulness of duty. And why that is so? Because of false compassion. False compassion can be compared with a lady here polishing the cage, forgetting the bird about it. Similarly, if we forget our duty and focus on external aspects, then that is not good. So that is the false compassion. Arjuna's duty as a Kshatriya was to punish the miscreants, but here Arjuna is becoming compassionate to them. So compassion for the thief who is there to rob your house and hurt your family members is a false compassion. And that is what Arjuna is doing, false compassion. Then, second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we begin with Sankhya Yoga, and then Lord Krishna continues with teachings of Buddhi Yoga. And this is where Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna starts instructing. So, basis of all the yoga philosophy, basis of self-realization is understanding that we are spirit soul, we are Atma, we are not this Sharira. And then you do your duty. The foundation has to be very strong. If the foundation is weak, the whole structure is going to be weak. So, what is our foundation of our existence? We are Atma, we are spirit soul having this human body at this time. And then on that, you use your intelligence, and this is called Buddhi, and then perform service. This is path of activity. So, in the second chapter, 7th shloka, Arjuna surrenders to Lord Krishna and says that Shishyateham sadhimam tvam prapannam. Now I am your disciple and I am surrendering you unto you. Prapannam means to surrender. Surrender is very, very important in Bhagavad Gita. Unless and until we surrender to Krishna, accept Krishna as a guru, accept Krishna as our spiritual master, we will not be able to understand this Bhagavad Gita. If you approach Bhagavad Gita in a challenging mode, then one will not get highest benefit. But if you want to get the same benefit as what Arjuna derived from Bhagavad Gita, we have to accept Lord Krishna as our spiritual master, as a supreme personality of Godhead. So then we say, Krishna, now I'm entering into Bhagavad Gita. Please instruct me. I'm surrendering into you. Please guide me. I'm confused in my life. I need your help and guidance. And Krishna, as a Paramatma within your heart, will reciprocate it. So we have to surrender to Krishna. That is very important. Prapannam. Then further, Arjuna claims that even if he gets the entire kingdom, all the material facilities on this planet, he is not going to fight. So what does that mean? That means that academic knowledge, scholarships, positions are useless in solving the real problems of life. When there is a problem, where there is stressful condition, then all this positions doesn't help, material positions. And what helps at that time? That time, help is provided by Guru, a teacher like Lord Krishna. So all the economic development, we are focusing too much on economic development, but this economic development is temporary. Worldly supremacy, we want to be superpowers, but the real problems of life is inside, and we want to be spiritually strong. Then we can face all these problems. And who can help? The spiritual master or representative of Krishna can help you in this condition. Further, as Arjuna refuses to fight and he says, Krishna, I am not able to take the decision here, so you please help me out here. And then, we all need spiritual guidance to come out of the material perplexities and for proper guidance to execute the purpose of human life. So we need a bona fide spiritual master. And who is bona fide? The litmus test for a bona fide spiritual master is the spiritual master will give you Krishna and Krishna will give you Guru. So Guru will give you Krishna, Krishna will give you Guru. The spiritual master will not come in between you and Krishna. Spiritual master will take your hand and give that hand to Krishna and say, here is the person, please help him out. Right? So then further, Lord Krishna starts instructing about the science of soul to Arjuna, and that is the Sankhya Yoga. So Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that we are spirit soul, we are Atma, and this Atma has two types of coverings. One covering is the mind, intelligence, and ego, which is the subtle covering. The covering is subtle, means you cannot see it. And then there is a external covering, the gross covering, which we can see, which is the body, which is made up of muscle, bones, all these things which we can see in our with the gross naked eye. And then this Atma is inside. And then there is Paramatma. There is a super soul within us. So we can compare that with the chariot. As in the chariot, you can see that uh, there are 5 horses who are driving this chariot, right? And all these 5 horses are our 5 senses. And all the senses are being controlled by the mind, and the mind is controlled by the intelligence, and the spirit soul is just a passenger. But spirit soul has to suffer because of the actions being performed by mind and intelligence and senses. So Lord Krishna further says that our body is going to continuously change, as from boyhood to youth, then youth to old age, and one day the body is going to die. But we as a soul, we are going to be eternal. So we should not get disturbed by the change. The soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon. It cannot be moistened by the water. It cannot be burned by the fire. Soul is permanent. Soul is eternal, everlasting, ever existing, right? So body and soul are distinct entities. The soul is an active component. The body is inert, and the body is instrument through which the soul is having these experiences. Just like a car and the passenger, or a car and the driver are distinct, just that the bird and the cage are distinct. Similarly, we are different than this body. We are not this body actually. So we are spirit souls. That is our eternal identity. And we saw that through near-death experiences, past life experiences, past life memories, experimental work of Dr. Ian Stevenson, Raymond Moody. We talked about this in detail, right? So science also helps us to understand that we are beyond this body. We are spirit souls. Then Lord Krishna further explains to Arjuna, Isha te vihita sankhe buddhi yoga tvimam shranu buddha yukto yaya partha karma bandhan prahasyasi. So now Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, what is he saying? Hey Krishna, hey Arjuna, thus far I have described this knowledge to you through this analytical study. But now I'm going to explain you in terms of Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means to work without fruitive results. So working, doing your duty, but without being attached to the karma, fruits of your karmas. When you act in such knowledge, you will be freeing yourself from the bondage. Right? So our repeated birth, disease, old age, and death, we get punarapi janma, punarapi marna. We get again birth, again birth, again birth, then again death, again death, again death. And in between, there is a disease. Why we go through this cycle? Because we are attached to our karma. But once we start performing akarma, which means performing karma without being attached to the fruits, then we get free from this bondage. Right? So that is called Buddhi Yoga. So in shloka number 31 to 38 of second chapter, Lord Krishna is explaining Arjuna about working without attached to the fruits. So Lord Krishna, this is a famous shloka. Lord Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhur mate sangostava karmani. So karmanya eva adhikaraste. You have only one right. And what is that right? Your only one right is to perform your duty. That should be the goal of life. Our goal of life should not be to achieve this, achieve that. Our goal is that I'm going to do my karma 100%. That is my goal. So my karma as a father, my karma as a mother, my karma as a doctor, my karma as engineer, whatever is the duty, you do it 100%. That is your right. You are not entitled to the fruits of your karmas. So what will be the outcome? Because that outcome is multifactorial. You can plant the seed, you can water the seed, but whether the tree will come or not, whether when the tree will come, then the fruits will come or not, and if the fruits come, whether they will be sweet or sour, we don't know what are those. Those are dependent on multiple parameters. But does that mean that you don't plant the seed? No, you plant the seed. So similarly, you perform your karmas, but do not worry about the results. So that is what Lord Krishna is further explaining. Then he says, Perform your duty equiposed, O Arjuna, abandoning such attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called as yoga. So what is the yoga? That is the karma yoga, performing work without attachment. Further, Lord Krishna is saying, Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyakta manishana janma bandha vinirmukta padam gachanti anamayam. So when you perform this duty without getting attached to the karmas or fruits of karma, then what happens? Then janma bandha vinirmukta. You can see here, janma bandha vinirmukta. What is that Lord Krishna is saying? That then you will not get reactions of your karma. When you don't get reactions of your karma, then you do not get any birth again. So you will get free from the cycle of birth and disease and old age and death. Right? So that is what Lord Krishna. So Arjuna's still lamentation, confusion is there. And what is the main reason of Arjuna's lamentation? Who will type here in your chat box? Why Arjuna is so much lamenting here? After going through this up to 39 shloka of Bhagavad Gita, what do you think is the reason for Arjuna's lamentation? Jyoti ji is saying attachment. That is very good. Thank you, Jyoti ji. Anybody else wants to say anything? Arjuna is attached, that is why. Anybody else wants to say why Arjuna is lamenting or why Arjuna is confused? If anybody wants to type in your chat box, that will be really nice. Doubts on the theory, Nirav Prabhu is saying. Thank you, Niravji, thank you so much. Arjuna is still lamenting. Arjuna is confused. That is, yes, he is confused or lamentation is there. Sachin Kumar is saying not having enough spiritual knowledge and too much attachment with family. That is absolutely correct. But let's go through it again so that we can understand it. Absolutely right. All of you are correct. Attachment to the results. But attachment, he had attachment to the family members. He had a compassion. And why was that? Because Arjuna was worried about that if they die, what will happen to them? What will happen to their family members? I will get sinful reaction. I will destroy the family dynasty. So what was there? He was attached to the family members for sure. And he was attached to the results also, that what will be the outcome of this war. So when he was attached to the results, then he forgot his duty. So if he would not have worried about the results, what would have happened? He would have easily carried out his work very easily. But he was, in addition to being attached to his family members and friends, he was more attached to the outcome. That what will happen? What will be the result? What will be end result of this war? He says, if I get all the universe, everything, still I will not be able to make myself happy. So again, he's worried about his own happiness, his own, and then ultimately end result. So Arjuna is worried about the results, and that is one of the main reason of his lamentation or confusion. So, and why he was so much attached to the result? Because he was attached to the sense enjoyment, Vishaya Bhoga. He was saying that, oh, everybody will die. What is the fun? What will happen to, he says, I'm not going to fight this war. Even if I get all the planetary system, all the three worlds, what is the fun in this, So he's all about sense enjoyment. He is worried about his own attachment. He's attached to the family. Why is attached to the family? Because he's getting enjoyment from the family. And why he's getting confused? Because he's attached to the results of the whole war, right? So tendency to attach to the results, tendency of enjoyment, and again confusion because of lack of this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So then Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that, hey Arjuna, control your senses. If you remember that example of a turtle, one who is able to withdraw his senses from the sense objects, as the tortoise draws his limb within the shell, is firmly fixed in the perfect consciousness. We should control our senses. We should not allow what are the senses? So 5 senses: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, belly, genitals, and then the mind. Mind is also one of the senses. You know, friends, I found this one video online and I'm going to share it with you, how this example of turtle helps you to understand how to control your senses. So here is an example. There is a lion here and the lion is trying to attack the turtle. Now lion is of course very powerful, but here watch this video very carefully and then you can understand this instruction of Lord Krishna very nicely if you can see this video. Look at this one. So here you can see that this lion is walking towards a turtle, right? And the turtle is walking very slowly, and the lion, there are two lions there, and both of them wants to attack this turtle, right? And then look at that. Now the turtle is being attacked by the lion, but what does turtle do? The turtle withdraw all his body within the shell, and the shell of this turtle is just like a iron shell. So now the lion, no matter how hard he tries, he cannot eat the turtle. Why? Because that shell of turtle is going to protect the turtle. So ultimately, like one lion comes, second lion comes, no matter how many lions come, but none of the lions are able to destroy that turtle. Why? Because the turtle has withdrawn its limb. The limbs are the soft parts, right? So if the lion could eat a turtle, that would be only if the the limbs would have been out. Then he could easily kill the turtle. But now the turtle has put all his limbs within the shell, and the shell is completely being covered in protecting him. So what is Lord Krishna saying? Withdraw your senses from the sense objects, as the tortoise withdraws its limb within the shell, is fixed in the perfect consciousness. So what do? We use these eyes, nose, ears, tongue, belly, genitals whenever there is a need for Krishna service. But when there is no need of Krishna service, we just withdraw these senses, right? So that is what Krishna is explaining. So here you can say that a turtle defeats the lion, who is the king of the jungle. Lion is of course very powerful, but not to open up the senses when they are not required. No matter how hard the lion is going to try, the turtle is not going to get defeated because Krishna. And what is that protective cover? So that protective cover is Krishna consciousness. So long as we are engaged in service of Krishna, this service will protect us. It is like a shell. That shell will protect us forever, right? And if we do not have this protection of Krishna service, Krishna consciousness, then we will be destroyed by the lions. We will be destroyed by this material energy because we are susceptible for the material attractions. So does that video help you to understand Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is like a shell. It is going to protect you very well so long as you are continuously engaged in service of Krishna. The moment you leave the shelter, the moment you leave the shell protection, then the lion is going to attack you forever, right? So problems will be there in our life. The lions will be there, but we will be protected. We will be taken care of by the Krishna's protective shelter. What is that shelter? The instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So if we read Bhagavad Gita every day, we will follow the instructions of Lord Krishna, will chant the holy name every day. This will be act like a shell, right? And this shell will protect you from morning to evening until you go to bed. So every day in the morning, get up and wear the shell. What is that shell? Read Bhagavad Gita, read Srimad Bhagavatam, recite the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and your whole life make Krishna conscious. Whatever you do, offer it to Krishna. Whatever you, like say you're a businessman, when you go to work, say, Krishna, my work, I'm dedicating it to you. If you eat food, you remember Krishna. If you drink water, you remember Krishna. In this way, you make your whole life as Krishna conscious life. Then that shell will protect you, right? So here we have to act under Krishna's shelter. That is what here we learn from this part of Bhagavad Gita. Then Krishna further tells to Arjuna that, hey Arjuna, if you want to overcome this power of senses, then engage your senses in higher test. param drashtva nivartate, right? So you may try to control your senses. You may try to control your tongue. Like, so people who have a diabetes, they try to control the sugar by not eating sweet. But then sometimes, or many times, the diabetic patients, they cheat and they eat the sugar which they should not be eating. Why is that so? Because the test is there. But suppose you find a replacement for the sugar and you say, okay, this tastes like a sugar, but this is not sugar. Okay, that's good. Then you're replacing one by something else. So now you're eating the sweet, but that is not increasing the sugar level. So that is called as replacement. So param drashtva nivartate. So Lord Krishna is saying, though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the test for senses, sense objects remains. Because ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher test, he is fixed in consciousness. So what do we have to do? The senses will need engagement. The eyes will need to be seen. So what do? Replace the test by the higher test, right? So instead of reading with the eyes, we read. So instead of reading the, say, which is mundane literature, something which is not useful, we read Bhagavad Gita or read Srimad Bhagavatam. Then, or instead of hearing anything nonsense, we hear about Bhagavad Gita. And there are so many wonderful lectures of Srila Prabhupada available online. Actually, if you Google Srila Prabhupada, you will find lots of videos on YouTube. And you can hear those lectures, see those lectures of Srila Prabhupada, and then your hearing test will develop. So you will develop a different test, which is called as higher test. And Lord Krishna then tells Arjuna, these senses are very powerful. They forcibly carry away the mind of a man of discrimination who is trying to control the senses. Like Vishwamitra Rishi, those who know the history of Greater India, Mahabharata, then they will understand that there was a sage Vishwamitra Rishi who was misled by, who was doing tapasya and who was misled by Menaka, and his tapasya was broken. So then Lord Krishna says, while contemplating on the objects of senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from attachment, lust, and from lust, anger. Right? So you think that, oh, should I get this or not? Get this or not? Then you get attachment. Then you want it. You do not get it, you become angry. And then from anger, delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And the memory is bewildered, then intelligence is lost. And then you perform sinful activity. Right? So we have to be very careful. Lord Krishna further says, as a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. This is very important. We have this mobile phone, and this mobile phone is very distracting actually. Sometimes we come across something on Facebook or YouTube and our mind gets distracted, our intelligence, we know this is not good. But what do? This is what the material energy is. The senses are very powerful. So Lord Krishna asked Arjuna that Apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudram apah pravishyati yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishyanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kama kami. So he says, as so many rivers enter into the ocean, but ocean is not disturbed, ocean remains stable. Similarly, so many desires will enter in your mind, but do not get disturbed. Arjuna, please control your mind, control your senses. Do not get disturbed by this desires of sense enjoyment, desires of material enjoyment, right? And thus ends the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now we are entering into the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is Karma Yoga. So when Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to act in Buddhi Yoga, perform your work for me, do it. Buddhi Yoga is same as Bhakti Yoga, because Bhakti means working for Krishna, and Buddhi also means working for, Buddhi Yoga means working for Krishna, and Bhakti means working for Krishna. So Arjuna is becoming confused now. So Arjuna is saying, oh Janardhan, oh Keshava, why do you want me to engage in this ghastly warfare? If you think that Buddhi is better than working without fruitivity results. Is better than the fruitive work. So here Arjuna is thinking that Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga means no activity. Because he says, do not worry about the fruits, do not get attached to the fruits. You just do your activity. And Arjuna says, hey Krishna, you are asking not to attach to the fruits, perform the work with the duty, act for you. Then why do you want me to engage in this war? This war, I'm going to kill somebody. Do you think the killing is a bhakti? Arjuna is still not understanding. Actually, Arjuna is understanding, but he wants more Bhagavad Gita to be spoken by Lord Krishna. So that is why, for our benefit, here Arjuna is asking more questions. So Arjuna thinks that Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, which means that no action, no karma. But here, so he's saying, hey Krishna, one way you are telling to perform karma, and then you are telling me not to expect any results, and then dedicate all results, not to perform any karma for the fruits of results. So I'm a little bit confused. Why would one not expect the results? When you do the karma, you expect the results. That is logical. But then if you are expecting no results, then why to do activity at all? Rather, I do not do any activity. That is what Arjuna is understanding here. So here Arjuna's basic question is that why should we not expect the results? Lord Krishna has highlighted that karmajam buddhi yuktai phalam tapta manishina. You will be free from the cycle of birth, disease, old age, and death. But still Arjuna is not convinced with this. So he says, Krishna, please explain me this little more. How can we do this? How to do this, live this life without expecting any results? I am confused. Please tell me more. So then Lord Krishna starts explaining. Lord Krishna says, na karma manam anarambham naishkaryam purusho snute na cha sannyasana eva siddhim samadhi gacchati. Lord Krishna is saying, not by merely abstaining from the work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone one can achieve perfection. So Lord Krishna is now answering and he's telling to Arjuna, hey Arjuna, you are thinking that if you do not perform your karma, na karmanam. Karmanam means your prescribed duty. Anarambham. So if you do not perform your duties, you think that you will be free from the reaction? Then that is not possible. Because not doing your duty is also a karma, which is vikarma, which is a bad karma, that you are not doing your duty. That is also a karma, which is a bad karma. Nacha sannyasanad eva. Sannyasa means to give up. If you think that you will renounce your work, that is not possible. You cannot achieve perfection by immaturely giving up your duty. So somebody has taken a vow to protect the family, and he's saying he's married, he has got wife and children, and now he's all of a sudden declared, so I'm going to take a sannyas because I do not want to fall into this trap of material world. Sannyas means to renounce, but that is not allowed here. Krishna is encouraging us to perform our duty 100%. Without expecting any results. So he says, this is not done. You have to do your duty. Next, Lord Krishna is saying, Nahi kaschid kshanam api jatu tishtati akarmakrat karyate hi avashah karma sarva prakriti jagir guna. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can abstain from doing something, not for even a moment. So here in this shloka 3.5, Lord Krishna is explaining about what is karma. So what is karma is explained here in this shloka. And what is that? We are forced to work helplessly. Friends, This is very, very important for us to understand that we are forced, even though you all think that we are independently working, we are not working independently. We are working under a force. Force means a power is working upon us. And what is that? Let's understand this very, very nicely. It says that everybody is forced to act according to the qualities one has acquired from the modes of nature. So we are working under three modes of nature. Let's understand these modes so that entire Bhagavad Gita will be very, very clear. This is very important concept in Bhagavad Gita. So let's understand this shloka very nicely. So I'm going to take a little more time on this because this is very important for us. So what is karma? Karma means action, but actions or activities performed by living entity under the three modes of nature and under the control of time. So there are two factors which are acting. One is mode, which is called as guna, and second is the time, the samaya. These are two things which are involved in karma. So let's understand this a little more in detail. So what are these modes of nature? So there are three modes of nature, and these are in Sanskrit called as guna. So here you can see that Lord Krishna on the top, and then there are three personalities. One is wearing the blue dress, one is yellow dress, one is red dress, like that. Right? So these are the three personalities. They are representation of three gunas, and these gunas have these personalities have these strings in their hands, and these strings are attached to the people. Right? So what are those? Let's understand this. So these three gunas are called as sattva guna, mode of goodness, rajo guna, which is called as mode of passion, and tamo guna, which is called as mode of ignorance. So sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna. So what are these three gunas? So these three gunas are constantly acting upon us. You see here this picture. This picture was sent to us by one of our participants. Her name is Tash. So Tash is here today. Thank you, Tash, for sending me this beautiful picture from the Lake Superior, I guess. The place where we are living, there's a beautiful lake here, Lake Superior. And one day Tash had forwarded me this picture. So thank you so much for sending me this beautiful picture. So there are three modes of, here in this nature, you can see that there are different colors, right? So there are three different colors. So colors are red, blue, and yellow color, right? These are the three primary colors. And then if you mix those colors, then you can see different colors of the nature, right? So three primary colors, then you mix them, you make 64, and then you mix those 64, 128 different colors. So goodness can be compared with, say, yellow color, passion can be compared with, say, blue color, and ignorance can be compared with, say, green color, and then you mix these colors. So how these colors are acting upon us. So when we are in the mode of goodness, then what happens? So sometimes we are in the mode of goodness. We are in the knowledge, right? And when we are in, we like to perform very nice activities. We like to perform very pious activities, spiritual activities. We like to help others. So when we are in the sattva guna, we like to get some knowledge. We like to be free from sinful reactions, and we feel sense of happiness, right? That is sattva guna. We perform our duty very nicely, without any hatredness, without any attachment. We follow Bhagavad Gita like that. So say in the morning time, we are in sattva guna. Then as the day progresses, then we change our mood. That mood is guna. We are being controlled by our surrounding nature. So in the morning we do yoga, meditation, pranayam. Then we go to work, and then we come under the passion. So then all of a sudden our guna changes, and then we feel like, oh, I should make more money. I should be very famous. I should get a, and then our guna, our mood, all of a sudden change. And then we have unlimited desires. We have desire for fruitive activities. We have some attraction for the opposite gender, like that. So that's a mood of a passion. And then all of a sudden, as the night comes, then there is a tamoguna acting upon us. This is a mode of ignorance acting upon us. We feel mad, we feel lazy, we feel sleepy. Some people in the evening time, they drink and alcohol and all those things. Some people become irresponsible, violent when they are in the tamoguna. They distress others. They say bad things about others. So, uh, so we all are constantly fluctuating with sattva guna, raja guna, tamoguna, sattva guna, raja guna, tamoguna. 80% of the time we are in, most of the population on the planet is in raja guna. And then sometimes they go to sattva guna, 15% of the time or 10% of the time. And then another 10%, 5 to 10% time they are in tamoguna. So most of the time we are in raja guna because we have unlimited desires. And then sometimes we feel, oh my God, what I am doing this. But not always. So do you all agree with this evaluation of sattva guna, raja guna, tamo guna? These are the three primary gunas. Gunas are just like ropes. They're controlling us. And how these gunas are acting? Because they are acting upon us because of our surroundings. We acquire under particular time, place, and circumstances. So if you go to, like say at this time, we all are in sattva guna because we are reading Bhagavad Gita. But all of a sudden, you give up this Bhagavad Gita and then you read a newspaper and then you start worrying about the things, by violence happening in the world and bad things happening in the world. So that is Rajoguna. And then you perform violence. That is Tamoguna actually. So do you all agree with this? If you have any questions, please type in your chat box. I'm willing to try. I will try my best to answer. So if you have any questions, comments, please type it. I don't see any questions or comments, so looks like everything is okay. If everything is okay, please type yes, that everything is okay. Can you have little of two? Jyoti ji has question. That's a very good question. Shyam Prabhu is saying all good. Richa ji is saying good. Sachin Prabhu is saying all good. Thank you. So yes, we can have combination of these two gunas together. So Raja guna mixed with Sattva guna. Tamo guna mixed with Raja guna. Like that. So you can have a combination of this. Like you can have a mixture of red and green. Or you can have mixture of green and blue like that. So different combinations, right? So we are constantly being challenged by the material modes of nature. So which is the best guna here? The best guna is, let's see, how many of you like to contribute? Which is the best guna among the three gunas? Sattva guna, Raja guna, or Tamo guna? Dr. Sunita ji is saying Sattva Guna, Jyoti ji is saying Sattva, Naveli ji is saying Sattva Guna, Sachin Kumar ji is saying Sattva Guna, Shushma ji is saying Sattva Guna. Of course, the correct answer is Sattva Guna. However, we cannot always remain in Sattva Guna. Why? Because we have unlimited desires. Those desires leads to us to Raja Guna and then Tamo Guna. So how do we always remain in Sattva Guna? So that is called as Shuddha Sattva. Shuddha Sattva means being fixed in Krishna consciousness. So when we say, hey Krishna, oh Lord Krishna, I am your servant. I am here to serve you. Whatever needs to be, whatever is required to serve you, I will do my best. And how do we do that? So whatever activities we perform, we dedicated for Krishna service. That is called Shuddha Sattva. So you are not taking any credits. You're giving all the credits to Krishna. Hey Krishna, I'm able to see this because you have given me eyes. I'm able to hear this because you have given me ears. I'm able to eat because you have given me the mouth. I have this wonderful family and friends because of your blessing. I'm able to survive because you have given me air, water, food. Everything is your blessing. So when you remove that ego, then what is left? Pure Shuddha Sattva is left. Because when ego comes, then that is what Rajoguna and Tamoguna comes. You want to enjoy, you want to be the proprietor, you want to be the master, you want to be famous, you want to be everything. That is where Rajoguna comes. And then that is, Rajoguna can lead to Tamoguna. Shuddha Sattva, we remove that ego, remove yourself from the center of all and put Krishna in the center, put Creator, God. Then You are in Shuddha Sattva. Then you are not egoistic, you're not envious, you're not lusty, you're not greedy, because now you are giving credit to the Creator. So that is called as Shuddha Sattva. Right? So we're going to learn more about this as we progress in the path of Bhagavad Gita. So then there are various types of karma. So karma is activities performed under the three modes of nature and under the control of time. That is, now what are the types of karma? So that is called as good karma and bad karma. So these are main two types, but there is a third type also I'm going to explain you. So good karma is called as karma and bad karma is called vikarma. So karma and vikarma. Karma means doing your activities as per your rules and regulations, and bad karma means going against the rules and regulations, right? So now good and bad is relative, right? So what is that? The good and bad does not depend upon the activity. For example, like say here I'm going to take an example of killing in the war and killing in the murder. So if a soldier performs the fighting, these are crude examples, but I mean we need something to understand these concepts of spirituality. So I'm taking these examples that killing in the war by a soldier who is fighting on the authority of government, then he is given a medal, like he is appreciated. But the same person, if he kills a civilian without a permission, then he's punished. So so the activity is same, but what is different now? The difference is the mode of nature in which it is being performed, or the ambition or the consciousness behind it. For example, breaking the house is one activity, and breaking the house by a thief and breaking the house by a firefighter. Now both are breaking the house, but a thief is breaking the house for the theft, and a firefighter is breaking the house for protecting the people. So activity is not bad. What is the bad is the consciousness, the purpose behind it. So here, what is the good karma and bad karma? It is all your consciousness actually for which you are doing. So two people performing the same activity, but one activity is good and one is bad. Is this concept clear? The good and bad karmas and the relativity of this? Yes, Naveli thank you, Jyoti ji, thank you, Sachin Kumar ji, thank you, Shyam Prabhu. So the same activity being done, but the consciousness is different, right? It's the purpose for which you're doing. So what do we understand from this? That we are going to eat, like we are going to eat the food, but now changing the consciousness that I'm into eating this food. We are all vegetarians, but eating vegetarian food after offering the Krishna, right? Krishna Prashant. The food is the same, but the consciousness is different. That, hey, Krishna, I'm eating this food because of your mercy. So activity is the same, but then one activity is keeping Krishna in the center, and one activity is keeping yourself in the center. So you go to a restaurant and eat the food for your pleasure, for your sense pleasure, and another person cooks the food at home and offers the food to Krishna, like say eating samosas. Same activity, but cooking the samosas and offering it to Krishna and eating it. And then again, the same thing for your own pleasure. I want to eat samosas because I like it. So same thing, but under the different consciousness, right? So it is the consciousness which counts in the life. This is very, very important. So Krishna consciousness means keeping Krishna in the center, right? So again, I give you the example of eating also. Eating too much and regulated eating. Eating is a eating, but then if you eat too much, that is sense gratification. And regulated eating means eating Krishna Prasad. So you will not eat if it is not offered to Krishna. Then you'll say, okay, then it is Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, too much eating is a cause of problem. People who eat too much, they get obesity, they get diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, and you name it. All the problems starts with eating actually. Or you are what you eat. So there are 4 pillars of goodness. These are basic foundations on which this is from Vedic scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. One of the pillar is daya, mercy. Second is truthfulness. Third is cleanliness. And fourth pillar of goodness is austerity. These are also called as Dharma principles. Dharma means that the foundation of this on which you are performing your activities. So what are the foundations? One is daya, mercy, then truthfulness, honesty, cleanliness. Cleanliness means that cleanliness outside and cleanliness inside. Your heart has also to be clean, not to be envious, not to be lusty, not to be greedy. And outside cleanliness, keeping the body clean, mind clean. Austerity. Austerity means tapasya. Voluntarily observing certain rules and regulations, like getting up early in the morning, is an austerity. Reading Bhagavad Gita is austerity. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is austerity. All these are austerity. So this is the foundation of the goodness, dharma. And what is the foundation of the bad karmas or adharma? These are the four sinful activities, which is that meat eating, where you are not having any mercy. Illicit relationship outside the marriage life. This is one of the foundation of sinful life. Then intoxication. Intoxication means drinking alcohol, smoking. Actually, tea and coffee is also intoxication because many people get addicted to tea and coffee. And caffeine is an addictive substance, is proven by science. And then gambling. Gambling or lottery, people trade so many things, gamble. So that is no truthfulness at all. So these are the foundations of bad karma. So any activity which is based on this, that is bad karmas. Now there are laws of karma. And what is the first law of karma? First law of karma is the Newton's third law. And what is the Newton's third law? Every action has equal and opposite reaction. So if you do good, the good will come back to you with the same speed and same force. So do good, the good will come back to you. Do bad, the bad will come back to you. Like that. So every action has equal and opposite reaction, right? So you have to be really, really careful by understanding that what is my karma based on? It is on the based of four principles of dharma or on the four foundations of adharmas. So that is what is going to count. So sometimes people say, why bad thing happens to good people? Because you may not have done bad karma in this life, but you might have done the bad karma in the previous life. Then gahana karmano gati. Karma gati is very, very subtle. It will come back to you, not last life, then this life. So do not think that we will escape from the reactions of karma. So then there are reactions of karma. As I said, reactions of karma are two types. Some are instant reactions. Example is a mustard seed. So if you plant a mustard seed, then the seed will grow very quickly within a week. But then if you plant a coconut tree, then it will take a time. So some reactions are instant, some reactions are delayed. As it is said in Bible, the mills of God grain slowly but exceedingly fine. So karma reaction, gahana karmanogati, which means that even if you think bad about somebody, the possibility is that somebody will think bad about you. We have to be really, really careful what we are doing. So best thing is perform all the karmas for Krishna. So when you're doing acting for Krishna, you're acting on the foundation of dharma. And when you're acting on the foundation of dharma, then you will not do any sinful activities like that. So there are variants of karmas. Some is individual karma and some is collective karmas, right? So some people will say, what is this? So individual karma is the karma being performed by one person. But collective karma is the karma being performed by the whole society at large. And then we all have to bear the results of it. For example, now this coronavirus, somebody did some karma. Somebody killed some animal, or it is said that it is an animal-borne disease. They killed some bats. It's a bats-derived virus. That is what they're saying, and it's the bats are not supposed to. The virus which infect the bats uh, usually doesn't affect the humans. Human is an intermediate host. Intermediate host means that actual host is the bats, but humans are being infected by this. Why? Because somebody did this karma, and now this collective karma, we all have to go through this. There is no escape from this, right? So that is called as collective karma. So we have to be very careful as a society also. Like if we are going to destroy the mother nature by pollution, by environmental crisis, digging the earth, petroleum, this is going, one day is going to hunt us. If you don't realize, it's already hunting us. We're already going through the bad times of environmental crisis, and this might aggravate further because these are collective karmas. We all, and then who will suffer? Not only us, but the young generation who have not seen the world. They're going to suffer like anything in the future, right? Because of the collective karmas. So we have to be collectively change this mind setup. The rules are not going to change anything, no matter how many how much fine you put in the by the government. The people are not going to change their behavior. What will change the behavior? The mind setup. And Bhagavad Gita is a mind setup changing course. So what is this course about? Changing your consciousness. It is not about remembering shlokas. It is not remembering about all that conversation happening. It is remembering about the message of Krishna and changing our consciousness that he Krishna, this is your property and we're going to take care of it very nicely, right? So this is collective karma. Do you all agree with this? If you have any questions, comments, please type it in your chat box. Thank you, Sachin Kumarji. Thank you so much. Yes, so we have to be very responsible when we live this human life. I don't think animals are doing so much crime as the humans are doing. And the reason being is that we have forgotten our duty. And what is our duty? Our duty is to serve Krishna, serve the Creator, rather than we are becoming the enjoyers. We are becoming the masters of everything. We want to rule this world. Not only this world, we want to go to moon and we want to go to Mars. We have destroyed the Mother Earth. Now we want to destroy the moon and then we want to destroy the Mars also. That is the mentality we have to give up. Then only we can be happy. Otherwise, there is no scope of happiness. As long as we want to be the masters, the day we become servant of Krishna, then the consciousness will change. So thank you, Anil Prabhu, for typing your comment. We will proceed further here. So there are different types of karmas. Now somebody will say that I did not know about these laws of karma, so what will happen? So it is said that ignorance is not an excuse for the laws of karma. In the human form of life, it is our duty to find out the laws of nature. Suppose you are driving on a highway, you're speeding with the speed of say 20 kilometers per hour, or 100 kilometers per hour, or 120 kilometers per hour, and traffic police will come and stop you, and you say, "Oh, I didn't see the sign." Oh, that is not an excuse. You will have to pay the ticket, right? Similarly, ignorance of the laws of karma doesn't mean that you will be excused. All the karmas, everything has to be paid. Ignorance is not an excuse for the karmas. So in the human form of life, it is our duty to find out the laws of karma. We should know the laws. Rajesh Kumar is saying, can we suffer by bad karma of someone else? So Rajesh Kumar ji, this is the thing, like you are primarily responsible for your karmas. And if it is a collective karmas, everybody is doing bad karma. Like for example, killing the cows. Killing the cows is the most sinful activity ever we can do. Now in this society, people are doing animal farming, and this animal farming is causing global warming. And one day it is going to hunt us. This global warming is going to hunt us like anything. Not now, there may be 100 years or 50 years. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. So we can suffer from somebody else's karmas also. So it is called collective karmas. Right? So then we have to be very careful, as it says, as you sow, so shall you reap. You are what you eat. These are the pictures taken from Bhagavad Gita as it is, where Prabhupada ji is explaining here the principle of karma. Those who like eating too much meat, then next life they will get the body of a tiger. So you will get a life of tiger, so you can eat more meat. Those who like sleeping or eating like unnecessary things, then they might be getting the life of a pig. Right? And then those who like too much sleeping, they might get the body of a bear. And those who like to expose themselves, they might get a body of a tree. Because tree is also a living entity, but tree doesn't wear clothes, right? So now somebody will ask this question that, but who is witnessing our activities? If I do some bad karma and nobody has seen me, I haven't been detected by the law, so who is witnessing my activities? So Lord Krishna is situated in your heart as Paramatma, and he is the witness of all the activities. He is there within your heart, he is there within my heart, he is there in the heart of everybody of us. So in the human form of life, we have this developed intelligence to discriminate and lead very responsible lives. If we engage in sinful activities, like say illicit sexual activity, meat eating, gambling, intoxication, which are known as 4 pillars of sinful life, then we will suffer from karmic reactions. We will degrade from human life to the lower species of life in the next life. Further, Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna, Niyatam Guru Karmatvam Karmajyo hi akarmana Sharira yatra pichate Na prasiddhet akarmana. So here a word called akarma is being introduced. So I said karma and vikarma. Karma means doing your duty properly. Vikarma is doing bad activities. But now here Lord Krishna is saying akarma. So what is that? We are going to understand. So Lord Krishna is saying, perform your duty equiposed rather than not working. One cannot even maintain one's body without work. So sometimes we perform our activity. And why? Because we want to maintain ourselves. So now akarmana. Akarmana means somebody say, okay, I'm not going to do anything. So one is doing good, one is doing bad, but somebody saying, I'm not doing anything. Not doing anything is also a type of karma. And how is that? We're going to learn more about this in coming shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna is saying, Yagnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tad artham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So here, Lord Krishna is introducing yagna. Yagnartha karmano anyatra. So you perform your work as a sacrifice. Sacrifice for Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. So that is called as akarma, which means that you're doing karma, but you're not getting any reactions to it. So you're not doing bad karmas or you're not doing vikarmas, but here you're doing good karmas, but you are offering that as a sacrifice for Krishna. So work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Vishnu or Krishna, same. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, Krishna's satisfaction. In this way, you will always be free from bondage of reactions. So here, yagnartha karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. So whatever the work we do, we offer it as a sacrifice for Krishna. Hey Krishna, sacrifice literally means doing yagna, but yagna here is karma yagna you're doing. What is that? So you're cooking, and cooking is a karma. But I'm saying, hey Krishna, I'm cooking it for you. That is called as yagna. I'm doing it for Krishna. Otherwise, if you cook for yourself, that is karma bandhana. Because even though you're a vegetarian, you're not eating meat, you're not killing any animals, but while boiling the food, you might be killing some bacteria or some germs or something like that. So that is bad karma. So what are we saying, Krishna? Hey, Krishna, I have to eat, I have to survive. So I'm eating this vegetarian food, I'm cooking it. You please bless it so that I can have this food. And I'm going to take this food as your blessing. So here we are performing cooking, but I'm performing cooking as a sacrifice, as a offering to Krishna. Otherwise, it will cause bondage, right? Further, Lord Krishna tells to Arjuna, Yagnasishtahan shanto muchyate sarvakilbisha bhunjate tva agam papa ye pachanti atma karanat. So here Lord Krishna is saying that Yagnashishta Ashina Santo. Santa means devotees. Santa. Santa means one who is devotee of Krishna. So Yagna Sister Ashina Shanto. The devotees take the food after offering as a sacrifice to Krishna. Muchyate sarva kilvisha. And then Muchyate means getting relief. Sarva kilvisha. Kilvisha means sinful activities. Or sarva means all. So the devotees who offer the food to me and then eat it, they are freed from all sinful reaction. But then further says, Bhujyate tvagam papa ye. Bhujyate means eating, enjoying. Te tva agham papam. Agham means very grievous sinful activity, papa. Ye pachanti atma karanat. Pachanti means having inside the food. So you prepare the food and you eat it without offering to Krishna, which is called as bhujante tva agham papam. Here you see clearly mentioned by Lord Krishna here that if you do not perform the sacrifice, if you do not offer the food to Krishna, then that is called bhujante tva agham papam ye pachanti atma karanat. So, but if you offer this food, Yagnasishta Ashina Shantaho. So, but you just cook the food, cook the vegetarian food. So, very simple actually. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, as we will hear this from Lord Krishna again in 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that you can offer fruit, flower, water, all vegetarian food basically without onion, garlic. Onion, garlic is supposed to be in the mood of Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So that is why devotees don't eat Rajoguna or Tamoguna. So offer the food to Krishna, cook it, offer it, and then you take it. You will be freed from all the sinful reaction. Otherwise, the simple activity of eating also can be the cause of your suffering. So Lord Krishna is saying the devotees of Lord are released from all kinds of sin because they eat the food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for the personal sense enjoyment eat only sin. So it is a value of prasad. You know, when you offer the food to Krishna, it is called as prasadam. And prasadam is very powerful, you know. Prasadam is which is sanctified food. You know. So let me show you something here. Just coming out of the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm going to share you with a message of water. Message of water is by a scientist. His name is Emoto. He is from Japan, and he belongs to an institute called Hedo Institute. This scientist has performed many experiments on water. Many of you would know about it, but I'm just for the benefit of this topic, we are going to talk about it. So he has performed his experiments on water molecules, and what he does is that he takes crystalline, photomicrograph of crystalline structure of the water molecules. So here is the distilled water, and this is the structure of the water under the microscope. This is what we see. Okay. Now, what he does is that he recites various sound vibrations, and you see, without touching the water, the sound vibrations create change in the molecular structure of the water. Actually, this is all available on internet. You can go and check out his name. You can just type Hedo water experiment and you'll come across these things. So he says here, water crystals exposed to the song entitled Silent Night, and then the water changes its molecular structure without touching. Okay, this is from remote. And then the water crystals exposed to the heavy metal music and the water molecules are disorganized. Then here he says thank you in Japanese language, and the water molecules are very beautifully organized. And here you can see the water molecules after exposing to the words, you make me sick, I will kill you. And then the water molecules are disorganized. You see the same water molecule without touching it, they get disorganized. So again, more experiments like this, water crystals before offering the prayer and after offering the prayer, right? So beautifully organized structure of the water molecules. And then again, the same after a blessing being performed by 500 people, such a beautiful structure of the same water molecule. Effect of the word love on the water molecule, and water blessed with love and gratitude, and see the change in the water molecules, right? And there are many more examples like this. So what does this mean? I'm going back to the concept of prasadam. We are talking about prasad and how important it is to offer food to Krishna. So friends, once you offer the food, you cook the food. Food has water, right? Lots of water in the food. Everything around us have water. There is water within about every cell of our body has water. So when we offer the prayers, when you offer the mantras, when we recite the Bhagavad Gita shlokas, when we recite wonderful positive vibrations around us, what happens? The water molecules change. And that is why the food which is offered to Krishna tastes very sweet. Food, when you're cooking the food, and then instead of singing a movie song, just sing like, say, some spiritual song, Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. And then you cook the food. The taste will be different. And then you put the heavy metal music and cook the food, the taste will be different. Why? Because the food is being cooked with love. The food which is cooked by a mother is different than the food being cooked by the chef in the restaurant. Why? Because the mother adds a special flavor of love. And what is that love? The water molecules. Water molecules, scientifically, it is proven that our thoughts, our vibrations, sound vibrations have effect on the composition of water. So our body is 70% water and our brain is 90% water. So if you recite the mantras, if you read Bhagavad Gita, positive messages, the water molecules will change and you will feel definitely better. So make a practice of reciting one shloka of Bhagavad Gita every day and see the change in your life. It will be a spiritual change as well as there will be change in your body composition also, because that is what it is. I will pause here for a few seconds and take any questions or comments if you have. Does this help you to understand Bhagavad Gita? Lord Krishna is telling this message. We are using the science to understand this properly. How Krishna what said in Bhagavad Gita is scientific. We learned about reincarnation, which is science has helped us to prove it. We are learning this Prasadam principle, and we can understand that scientists are helping us to understand this. Is this okay? If you have any questions, please type it in the chat box. I don't see any typing here, so I don't know whether you can hear me, you can see me, or everything is okay at your end. If you are okay, please type yes in your chat box. Thank you, Shyam Prabhu. Thank you, Sachin Kumarji. Thank you, Richa ji. Thank you so much. So with that, we will proceed further. Thank you, Dr. Sunita ji. We have another 15-20 minutes, and then we'll proceed further to the next part of Bhagavad Gita. So we will go further, and Lord Krishna is telling in 3rd chapter, 16th shloka. Lord Krishna is saying, Evam pravartim chakram nanu vartayatiha agara indriyo ramo mogam partha sajivati. So here Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, hey Arjun, evam pravartitam chakram. So pravartitam means established. This whole life cycle, which is of human life, is based on the sacrifice. Human life means sacrifice. Human life is nothing but acting for the welfare of others. Now, if you do not perform this life of sacrifice, you do not live this life of sacrifice, then that will be sinful. Living only for agayur indriya aramo. Indriya aramo means sense enjoyment. Let's do it. Have lots of sense gratification. That is not a human life. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Animals also can do it. We are also doing it. What is the additional thing we can do? What we can do is sacrifice, help others, make our life available for the service. That is what is human life is counted as. So Lord Krishna is telling, my dear Arjun, one who does not follow in this human life the cycle of sacrifice, thus established by Vedas, certainly leads to life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of senses, such a person lives in vain. So that's a useless life. Human life is meant for self-realization. What is the purpose of my life? Who am I? Where do I go after this death? What is karma? What is jnana? What is bhakti? Explore this. Animals do not have this facility. And that is the sacrifice. Sacrifice means what you are doing now is a sacrifice. You're spending your time hearing Bhagavad Gita, reading Bhagavad Gita. That is sacrifice. And that is what the purpose of human life is. Human life is not for sense gratification. Sleeping always, some people sleep for like 20, 10, 12 hours, Sometimes people, I don't know what, one of my friends used to sleep like 16 hours a day. You're always sleeping, right? Whenever you go, he's sleeping. So that is not the purpose of human life. Human life is meant for self-realization. Otherwise, this life is just like living animals. Further, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, Tasmad asakta satatan karyam karma samachara ashakto hi acharan karma param apnoti purusha. So Lord Krishna is saying tasmad. Tasmad means therefore. So he's saying without being attached to the fruits, satatam karya karma samachara. One should, as a matter of duty, perform the duties without being attached. And work for Krishna, Paramam apnoti purushaha. So you act for Supreme, and that Supreme is Krishna. Krishna will reveal himself as in Bhagavad Gita, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th chapter. Lord Krishna reveals that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But all the scriptures, all the Vedas, even Brahmaji says, Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Yajami. Narad Muni worships Krishna, Brahmaji worships Krishna, Vedvyasji worships Krishna. So Krishna has been proven as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shankaracharya says, Bhaj Govinda, Bhaj Govinda, Bhaj Govinda Mudabate. Kapila Muni, Narada Muni, Madhvacharya, Nimbargacharya, Vishnu Swami, Mirabai, Narsim Mehta, all these great acharyas, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and so many saintly personalities have declared Lord Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whatever work we do, we work without attachment as a sacrifice for Krishna. So Lord Krishna is saying, therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains Supreme. So act, but for the pleasure of Krishna. Then Lord further says that Yada yada charati shreshtas tada tada evartaro jana sayad paramam kurute lokas tadanu vartate. So here Lord Krishna is saying what should be a leader look like. Yada yada acharati shreshta. So a leader should lead by example. whatever a leader will perform, yada yada acharati. Achar means to execute. So Shrestha means a respectable person. So whatever a respectable person of the society will do, tada tada evartaro jana, a routine or common people will follow it. So you have to set the standards by exemplarily acts. So leaders has to follow certain codes of ethics. Then the common man will follow. If the leaders are corrupt, then what will the common people will do, right? So here, Lord Krishna is telling to Arjuna, hey Arjuna, you are the leader. Actually, father, mother, these are the leaders. Father is the leader of the family. Whatever father performs, the children will follow. If father is smoking, then likely the children might smoke. If father mother are eating meat, then children might be liable to, they're prone to eat meat like that. So whatever is the great people perform, the common people are going to follow that instructions. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjun, Arjun, you are a leader, don't act like this. So he's saying whatever the action a great man performs, a common man will follow. And whatever the standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world will follow. And then Lord Krishna gives the example of King Janak. King Janak is the father of Mother Sita. Janaki's father is Janak. So Lord Krishna tells that Janak had all the opulences, but he was the most saintly person. Why? Because whatever he performed as a sacrifice for satisfaction of Lord Krishna. So a leader cannot teach the public unless he puts that in practice. There's a very nice story. A mother wanted to stop his child from eating chocolates, but mother was telling him not to eat chocolate, but then chocolate means sweet, you can say sweet items. So child was eating all the sweet items always, and the sweets are not too much, they're not good if you eat too much. So mother was telling, and then the child was not stopping. So one day a sadhu came, and then mother said, can you please tell this child he's eating too much sweet, and I know it is not good for him, but he's not listening. So sadhu said, okay, please come after 1 week. And then the mother took the child after 1 week, and then sadhu said, oh child, please do not eat this sweet, it is not good for your health. And then the child stopped eating sweet. So then mother was surprised that why did sadhu not tell him a week before? He would have told week before. So she asked sadhuji that, Mahatmaji, you told not to eat, and that we could have done last week also. So Mahatmaji said that I myself was eating sweet. So to ask this person stop eating, I have to stop eating. So once he stopped eating, then the effect was there. So once you put into practice, then your saying has more value. So this is what Lord Krishna is telling, that leader has to lead by example. So yada yada acharati shrestha. So lead by exemplary acts. Lord Krishna is saying, na me parthasti kartavyam trishu lokesha kinchana nanvaptam avapityam varta eva cha karmani. So Lord Krishna is saying, hey Partha, hey Arjun, name parthasti kartavyam. Me means here Krishna. So Lord Krishna is saying, I am the owner of this whole spiritual and material world. Lord Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. O son of Partha, there is no work which is like prescribed for me, which means Lord is the supreme person, right? He doesn't have to do any work. But still he is doing his duty. What is his duty? Karmanyeva, what he is doing is yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sanstapnarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Lord Krishna is saying, I come every yuga cycle to kill the miscreants, to re-establish the dharma, and to protect my devotees. So Lord himself does the activity. But if he doesn't do, nobody's going to ask him, why Krishna, you are not doing your duty. So Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna that, hey Arjun, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no work prescribed for me within these three planetary systems. Nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to do anything. Yet I am engaged in my duty. So, if Lord Krishna says, if I do not do my duty, then what will say? People will say, people will follow my path. The people say, if Krishna didn't do it, I am not going to do it. So, if we give up our duty as whatever the duty we have been allocated, and if we do not perform the duty, the commonwealth people will say, oh, the leader did like this, so we are going to follow his path. So Lord Krishna is asking Arjuna to lead by example, that people should, when remember Arjuna, people should remember Arjuna as a great fighter, a great leader who performed his duty for satisfaction of Krishna. And then people follow the path of Arjuna. That is, Arjuna followed the path of Krishna's instruction. We are going to follow the path of Krishna's instruction. Further, Krishna says, as the ignorant man performs their duties with attachment to the results, the learned soul, the leader, spiritualist, may act similarly, but without attachment, for the sake of leading people on the right path. So as Raja Janak, he performed his duty, but without attachment. So we do the same activity. We do not change anything in our life. Just include Krishna. Otherwise, the activities are same. So working for Krishna, eating for Krishna, sleeping for Krishna, everything for Krishna. So then that is leading by example. Further, Krishna says, this is a very nice shloka. Prakrute kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasa ahankara vimudhatma karta amiti manyate. Ahankar means, let's see how many of you know the word ahankar. If you can type ahankar. Ahankar means ego. I see there were some questions, but I'm going to answer all the questions as the next 5 minutes. Okay, this will be the last shloka, and then we'll take the question answers. Ahankar. So everybody is saying it's ego, pride, proud, ego. Okay, let's understand the ahankar. What is Lord Krishna is saying? Lord Krishna is saying here that prakrute kriyamanani gune karvani sarvashah. So we are acting under the modes, Sattva Guna, Raja Guna and Tamo Guna. We understood this before. So our actions are controlled by the Guna. So currently you are in the Sattva Guna. So you are being controlled by the Sattva Guna. Then after a while you will go into the Raja Guna. You will be controlled by Raja Guna. Then at the time you will be controlled by Tamo Guna. So Prakrute Kriyamanani, the spirit soul is thinking that he is doing the activities. Prakrute kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasa. But actually, these activities are being controlled by the three gunas, sattva guna, raja guna, and tama guna. But still, we are thinking that I am the doer. Ahankara vimuda atma. Vimuda. Ahankara vimuda. Vimuda means what? Vimuda means muda means pagal, mad, but vimuda means bewildered, little bit more, little more muda. So ahankar, because of you thinking that I am the doer, you get bewildered. Kartaham iti manyate. Actually, these all activities are being carried out by the three gunas, sattva guna, raja guna, and tamo guna. But you are thinking that you are the doer. If you go into sattva guna, then you will do nice. The tamo guna, bad. Raja guna, in between. So actually, all this is controlled by the gunas, the environment, the surroundings. Everything is controlling us. So instead of thinking that you are doing it, actually it's the gunas which are acting upon us. So that is ahankar. There are two types of ahankar. One is ahankar literally means ego, but there is a true ego and there is a false ego. You see here title, it says false ego. False ego means thinking that I am the doer. And true ego means I am the servant of Krishna and Krishna is the doer. So here you have an ego. Ego means identity, understanding your identity, but understanding the identity that you are spirit soul, you are part and parcel of Krishna, you are the servant of Krishna. That is true ego. And what is the false ego? I am so and so, I am a doctor, I am such a big man, I am a great man, I am such a rich man, I should be respected by everybody. Everybody should give me honor. When I come, everybody should stand up. That is called false ego. Why? Because you are thinking that you are the doer, but you are not the doer. So ahankara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyase. Do not think that you are the doer. It is all being done under all these three gunas, sattva-guna, rajoguna, and tamoguna. They are also working under the control of Krishna. Krishna is the one who is directing them. So once we surrender to Krishna, actually we transcend all these three gunas and we go to Krishna, which is Suddha Sattva Guna. So Lord Krishna is saying here that the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself as the doer of activities which are actually carried out by the three gunas. So I'm going to pause here because it's 12:27. And I will answer some questions which were being asked by our friends. So let's see. The question was on collective karma. Jarvin has asked, should I ask? Yes, Jarvin, you can ask the question, no problem. Ajit ji, is Krishna is avatar of Vishnu? Why not worship Vishnu rather than Krishna? Ajit ji, your question is you can worship Vishnu also, Krishna also, that is fine. Whatever, Krishna and Vishnu are identical. That is not a problem. Okay, so Jarvin, as mankind has to progress, and so man is going on the moon and exploring the nature. This is causing exploitation and global warming. The concerned authorities are not aware or concerned it at all, ruled my money and selfish means, causing the whole world to suffer. So what can we do, or what do we do? Follow the Lord's name and pray, or anything else? So here, Jarvinji, what I understand from your question, first of all, thank you for your question. And if anybody wants to ask a question, please keep your question ready, type it and then send it and I'll try to answer. This karma is a very interesting topic actually. And we're going to talk about this in next 3 sessions or 4 sessions more. Jarvinji is saying here that people are doing this exploiting the world, they're harming the nature. What should we do? Should we just observe it and pray to Krishna, or can we do something else? Yes, we can pray to Krishna and ask that he gives intelligence to everybody. But what other we can do is that we can read Bhagavad Gita, understand it, put it in practice in our life, and then spread the message of Bhagavad Gita. If whole world is Krishna conscious, then I think the world will be beautiful. It's a beautiful place to live in. But Krishna consciousness means that to accept authority, that there's somebody higher than us and this whole world is for his service, for his satisfaction. God consciousness, Krishna consciousness is similar, but Krishna consciousness is a definitive term where we know that this is the name of God, so we have to follow Krishna consciousness. I hope that helps you to understand. So we pray and then we follow the instructions of Krishna and then we put into practice and then teach it. So Jarvinji, again, Jarvinji is attending this course for second time. Jarvinji has attended this course last time. He's from Mumbai. And I'm really happy, Jarvinji, that you are attending this course again. Very, very happy to see you again. Thank you so much. Niravji has a question. Yagna Sista Shuk, you mentioned Krishna urged us for vegetarianism. Though based on my limited research, vegetarianism was added to Indian Sanskriti by Raja Kumbhapal in the 11th century. That is, assuming they eat meat during the Mahabharata age. How do you reconcile with what you said about meat, and same goes for Sura, Shoka? What does I and me refer to? Is it Lord Krishna or inner self or soul? Okay, so Nitish ji has second question. So I'm going to answer Nirav ji's question and then Nitish ji's question. So Nirav ji is saying that meat eating was being followed in the previous ages also. So why this concept of vegetarianism? So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, ninth chapter, 6th sloka, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayachati. So Lord Krishna is saying Patra, Pushpa, Phala, and Toyam. He never said Kuttam, Billam, Murgam, Fisham. He never asked for meat. So that is one thing that Krishna is wanting. Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead, he eats only vegetarian food. Fruits, flower, leaf, water, uh, whatever is vegetarian. Now, in the olden times, people used to eat meat. Especially the king, the Kshatriya class. So Brahmanas never ate meat. So there is a Kshatriya, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So Brahmanas were always vegetarian from time beginning. Kshatriyas were eating meat because they had to be very powerful and they had to be performing these activities of violence, and they were, as a dharma, they were allowed to eat meat because of their bodily demands. However, the regulation was that they have to eat this meat after offering it to this process in the Vedas. There are various types of Vedas, and the Vedas for the people in the mode of ignorance. There is a Veda for mode of passion, mode of Sattva Guna. Also, there is a Veda. So, like say in Bengal, there is a worship of Kali Puja, and in the Kali Puja they offer the goat, and this is prescribed in Vedas. But the thing is here that people use there is a mantra to be recited while doing this offering the goat ceremony. And what is that mantra saying? That in this life I am killing this goat, but in the next life I know that I will be born as a goat, and this goat will be born as a human, and that goat will kill me, and now I'm killing. So I will be killed similarly. That is the meaning of this mantra. Now, this is for those people who cannot control their tongue, people who are habituated to meat eating. So how do you control them? So Vedas have prescribed this, that you understand this, that you offer this meat to the Kali, goddess Kali. Krishna will not take the meat. You offer this meat to the Kali, and on particular day, and you recite this mantra. So idea was that slowly and steadily their brain will come to the senses, their mind will come to the senses, and they will understand that if I'm killing this goat now, in the future I will be born as a goat, and then I will be also killed like that. So similarly in Islam also there is a concept of halal meat. Halal meat means that they offer this meat to the god and then they eat it. The idea here is that controlling the senses. The Muslims who are really ritualistic Muslims, they will never eat meat outside in a restaurant because that is not offered. Idea is again control, but the controlling to the extent that no meat eating is the best. So the idea is that we want to be non-violent. Why should we kill someone for our sense gratification, right? Everybody is child of God. So why do we want to kill someone? Like I have a child. If somebody kills my child, I will feel bad. Similarly, that goat or a cow that is child of somebody else. Why should we kill that particular animal? That is the idea. So compassion, kindness is the whole principle. So I hope that helps you. Nitishji is saying, who does I and me refer to in Lord Krishna? Yes, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is going to use the word me and mine and manmana mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru sarva dharman parigyache mamayekam sharanam raja. Here, me means we are not replacing Krishna with anything else, right? So here nothing by word the soul. Me does not mean soul. Me here means whenever Krishna says me, that is me means Krishna himself. Krishna is telling to Arjuna. If we try to replace Krishna with something else, then that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is, we want to take Bhagavad Gita, what Arjuna understood from Krishna. So here throughout Bhagavad Gita, wherever Krishna says me, that means Krishna himself. I hope that helps you. Okay, Richa ji, she says, I have to go. Thank you for the session today. Thank you, Richa ji. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope I answered all your questions. I tried my best, but I may not be 100% accurate in my answers. If you have any other experiences to share, please. Thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, Ajit Prabhu. Thank you, Anil Prabhu. Thank you, Dr. Krishna Kumar ji. Thank you, Dr. Sunita ji. Jarvin Prabhu, Jyoti ji, Madhufai, Naveli ji, Niro Prabhu, Nitish Prabhu, Padmanabhan Krishnan ji, Rajesh Kumar Prabhu, Sachin Prabhu, Shyam Prabhu, Surendra Prabhu, and some of our friends who left earlier because of their commitments. But thank you so much for joining us. Homework for all of you. Please read third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, part of whatever we have completed until shloka number 27. So read until 27 shloka and make your notes, make a short presentation, send me a WhatsApp message. I'm going to send you my WhatsApp 001 807 251 9700. That's my WhatsApp number. So send me a message on my WhatsApp, send me a short video presentation. So I will be happy to share and then we have a WhatsApp group also. So if you send me a message, I can add you in the WhatsApp group. Throughout the week, while you are reading Bhagavad Gita, at any time, if you have any questions, send me a WhatsApp message or email me. I will be happy to answer your questions. Please read third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And next time, we'll quickly finish the third chapter and then we'll continue with the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Again, it's all continuity of Karma Yoga. Third, fourth, fifth. So we'll have a really good time with Karma Yoga. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Stay safe wherever you are. Wash your hands. Keep social distancing. Use mask. Virus is spreading very, very rapidly nowadays. So please keep yourself safe and family safe. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everybody. I will take your leave now. Hare Krishna.